Hi everyone, today let's solve the problem number 901 online stock span. Right, so what the question states here, we are given daily stock prices, right? So here we are given daily stock prices, and what we need to do here, and we need to return the span for each day. Span for each day. Then what is span here? We need to return the span for each day they have given here. We are given a daily stock prices and we need to return the span for each day. Span is nothing but count of consecutive previous days, including today we need to consider. Right, including the current day or today. The span is the count of consecutive previous days where the price was less than or equal to today's price. Again, I'm reading this one out loud, so just listen to this one. The span is the count of previous consecutive previous days where the price was less than or equal to today's price, right? So this one we need to keep in mind. What we need to do, we must design a class stock spanner. We must design the class stock spanner with a next of int price. Next of int price, this one they're speaking of. This is basically what do you call initialization part, right? And this acts as a constructor basically. So here we must design a class stock spanner with the next of int price, price as the parameter method. This method they are speaking of the next method. So here in this case that returns the today's span. That returns today's span. So the total number of calls will be up to 10 to the power of 4. The constraint they have given. This is fine. So the main thing here, what is span? Span is the count of consecutive previous days where the price was less than or equal to today's price. We need to keep this in mind here. So we need to know just what is span basically to solve this problem. The span is the count of consecutive previous days where the price was less than or equal to today's price. They have mentioned this one clearly, right? Let's come to the first example here. Let's do one thing. Let's discuss the approach. Followed by the complexities, and then let's finally write the code. Let's come to the first example here, right? So let's come to the first example here. In this case, the return value of the initialization part is always null. Just remember this one. The return value of the initialization part is always null. So this one, the return value of this one is number. So the return value of this one is number, right? So just keep this in mind. So here this would be first what we'll do. The first thing that I need to tell you here is we will be going with the this one data structure stack. So we will be going with the stacks for this particular problem, right? So we'll be going with the stacks for this particular problem. So first thing here is we'll maintain a stack of price and span. This pair I am speaking of, price and span pair. We'll maintain a stack for price and span pair, right? So first thing we have next of this one will be null. Stock spanner, this one initialization, this will be null. I hope this part is clear. First we have null, right? So next let's go with next of 100. So stack is empty. And we are maintaining a stack of price and span pair. This pair we are maintaining this one stack of price and span pair. So this is the price. 100 is the price, and the span only one day. So this will be 100 comma 1. So this will be initially 100 comma 1. So I hope this part is completely clear. 100 comma 1. So we will return 1. At the top of the stack we have 1, so we will return 1. That's what we need to return. Basically span we need to return, right? So here in this case we'll return 1. I hope the first part is completely clear. This is how we got 1, right? Next we have next of 80, right? So we will check whether 80 is less than or equal to 100. Yes, 80 is less than 100, right? So we will push 80 to the stack. Again, span 180 we are considering, right? So from this one, span is 1 day. So we'll push 80 and 1 to the stack. So again, at the top of the stack we have 1. So what we'll do, we'll return 1 again. So we'll return 1 again, right? So I hope this part is clear. Next again we'll come to the next here. The price we have is 60 here, right? The price we have is 60. So we'll compare. First thing what we'll compare, previous value, whether 60 is less than or equal to 80 or not. Yes, 60 is less than 80. So what we'll do here in this case, we will push 60 to the stack along with the 1. The span is 1 day, right? So here will again we have the 1 here at the top of the stack, will return 1. So this is how we got 1 here, right? So this is how we got 1 here. Next value we have is 70. Next value we have is 70. Here 70. Now first step what we need to do, we need to check this value with the previous value whether this is small or not. 70, is 70 less than 60? 70 less than 60? No, 70 is not less than 60. So 70 is greater than 60 here. 70 is greater than 60. So what we will do here, we will pop this one. We will pop this one 60 comma 1. So we'll not push this one 70 to the stack. Instead we will pop the previous value 60 comma 1, right? Span will be span plus 1 in this case. Span will be span plus 1, right? So now what we will do, we will compare 70 with the 80, the previous one. So this one, what do we do? We have the value 70, right? So this one we have popped already. Now we will compare the 70 with the previous one. As we have popped this one, now we will compare the 70 with the previous value again. So is 70 less than 80? I mean, is 70 greater than 80? This time we'll not consider this one. As we have to push, we will consider uh, this one, whether that is greater than 80 or not. 70 greater than 80? No. Or 70, is 70 less than or equal to 80 basically? Yeah. Yes, 70 is less than 80. So what we'll do, we'll push 70 comma 2. Instead of this one 1, we will push 2. Why? Because span we have 2 days, right? So this one miserably failed here, right? 70 is not 70 was not less than 60, so we popped this one. So span, we will increment the span from 1 to 2. Span equals span plus 1 basically, from 1 to 2. Now what we'll do, we have got we compared 70 with 80. Is 70 less than 80? Yes, 70 is less than 80, right? So what we'll do, we will go with 70 comma 2 here. 70 comma 2, we'll push 70 comma 2 to the stack. So next value that we have is 60. So next value that we have is 60, right? So here this is fine. We are left with 60, 75 and 85. Next of 60, we'll compare 60 with 70, right? 70 is the value we have. Is 60 less than 70? Yes, 60 is less than 70. So at this time, what we'll do, we will push 60 comma 1. Span will remain 1 itself, right? 60 comma 1, right? So to the stack, now we have 60 comma 1. So 1 we will return in this case. 1 we will return. 1 is at the top of the stack, so 1 we will return. This time next one is next of 75. So we will compare, is 75 less than 60? No, 75 is greater than 60. So we will pop this one. We will pop 60 comma 1, right? So 75 is not greater than this one. So we will pop 60 comma 1. We will increment the span from 1 to 2. Here span becomes 2. Here span becomes 2. Again what we will do, we will compare 75 with 70. Is 75 less than or equal to 70? No. We'll pop this one as well. We'll pop this one as well, and we will increment the span from 2 to 3. Here in this case, we will increment the span from 2 to 3. So this one we have already, this one, what do we call? Popped this one 60, so we don't have to compare this one. So what we will do here in this case, we will compare 75 with basically this one 80. 75 with 80, right? So we will, so here this also we need to consider for the span, right? So we'll not be considering this one, but still span we have to increment. In this case span becomes 4 basically, right? So now we will compare whether 75 is less than 70 or not. Now we'll compare 75 is less than 80 or not, this one with this value. So this one also we will consider span, will not consider whether 75 is less than 60 here. In this case we'll consider 75 is less than 80. So span we have is 4 now, right? Span we have is 4. 75 is less than 80. So finally we will, what we'll do, we'll push 80 with the span, nothing but 4 here. Sorry, 75 here, not 80. Value 75, right? 75 with the span 4. right? So, and we have the 4 at the top of the stack, we will return 4 in this case, we'll return 4 in this case. Finally, we have 85. 85 will compare with this 75, with this 75 part. So 85 is less than, is 85 less than 75? Yes, it is. So what we'll do, we will return 85 with the span 1 here. We'll return 85 with the span 1, right? So we'll return 85 with the span 1. So what will be the output here in this case? 85 comma 1. So we'll return 1 at the top of the stack, so we'll return 1. So we'll return 1 in this case, right? So why we are returning 6 here? Just give me a second here. So yeah, so here I got confused, sorry. Basically what happens here is we need to empty the stack. We need to empty the stack, right? So what we'll do, we'll compare this one, the last one, 85 comma 85 with 75 comma 4. So this one also we have the span 4, right? So again we'll compare with 80. So this one as well. So now a span we have 1 here. 4 plus 1 will be 5. And now we'll compare with the 100 as well. So now 1 1. So basically 4 plus 1 will be 6. So span becomes this one 6. 85 and 6 we have the return value for the last value. I got confused here. So the return value will be 6 here in this case. So the return value will be 6 here in this case. First we'll pop 75 comma 4, then we'll pop 80 comma 1, and then we are left with 100 comma 1. This one will pop. So the stack has to be empty at the last step. So we are popping everything 75 comma 4, this one first, then 80 comma 1 and 100 comma 1. Total span was 4 5 1 1 here. So 4 plus 1 plus 1 nothing but 6. So the output that we got here is 85 comma 6. Sorry, here I got confused. So we need to return 6 for the last value, right? So we need to do this one. Sorry, I got confused here, right? Span equals 6. So we will push 85 comma 6 into the stack, and we will return at the top of the stack we have 6. So we will return 6 here. So we will return 6. So here in this case, that is how we got null these values. Basically, just give me a second here. Null 1 1 2 1 4 6. This is how we got the value accordingly with the approach. I hope the approach part is completely clear. We have discussed individual steps by making use of the stacks, right? So I hope the approach part is completely clear. Let's quickly discuss the complexities and let's write the code. So what would be the time complexity here? The time complexity would be big of 1 here in this case, because we are amortizing per next call. We are amortizing for the next call. Each element is pushed and popped at most once here. So the overall time complexity would be big of 1, which is amortized per next call, right? So what would be the space complexity here? Space complexity would be big of n. The time complexity would be big of 1 amortized per next call, and this one I'm speaking of only next, right? Accordingly with the method or the function next here. And the space complexity would be big of n here in this case, because n is nothing but the number of next calls here. Nothing but stack stores at most n elements, right? And in this case, space complexity would be big of n, and the time complexity would be big of 1, right? So this one I'm speaking of. Mainly it is dependent on the this one next method, right? So I hope the complexities are completely clear, easy to understand, right? Let's do one thing. As we are completely familiar with the approach and complexities, let's start writing the code. Initially, what shall we do? Let's make use of the stack to hold the previous pairs of price as well as the span. We have to go with the price and the span pair, right? Accordingly with the approach. So let's articulate the same thing in the form of approach. Whatever we discussed in the approach, let's articulate the same thing in the form of code here. So let's make use of the stack first to hold the pairs of price and span. So I'll just go with private stack. So this will be int. This is fine. Int. So this one will be stack. This is fine. So within the initialization part, what I'll do, let's initialize the stack. So this will be stack equals new stack. So this is fine. Stack equals new stack. So let me come out of this one entirely. So this is it for the initialization part. So we are left with only next method. So within the next method, what shall we do? First step is accordingly with the approach, we have to go with the default span, whether we have to check whether it is at least 1, means today, for today or the current day we'll be checking, right? Span has to be at least 1, right? So we discussed this one step by step by considering the first example. right? By considering the first example. So first, let me initialize the span to 1, and the next step is we have to check, well, stack is not empty. Stack shouldn't be empty, right? It has to contain some element, right? And we have to check, while stack is not empty and tops price, stack's tops price is less than or equal to current price. So that's what we did step by step, right? So the same thing, let's articulate in the form of code. So here this one will be while not of is empty, not of stack dot is empty, this is fine, and stack dot peak, so this one is fine. Then what we'll do, if it is less than or equal to price, then what we will do, within the while loop we will add the span of the popped element, means span equals span plus stack dot pop, this one is 1. So this is fine. So let me come out of this one entirely. So we have to push the current price and its total span, means I'll just go with stack dot push here. So this one will be new int of so this will be this contains price and span, right? So here we have to push the current price and its total span. So let me write this one within the flower bracket. So this will be price comma span. So this is fine. Let me come out of this one entirely. So the final step would be we have to return the final span, nothing but here in this case we have to return the final span here. That's it, right? In the form of output within the array. So here this will be return span. So this is it for the this one code. So let me format this one once and let me hit the run button. This has to work. Let's see. So yeah, here you can clearly see the sample test case got accepted. So let me hit the submit button. So here you can clearly see all the test cases are getting passed, means the code works absolutely correct in this case, right? So I hope the solution part is completely clear along with the approach and complexities. For now, this is it. Thanks for watching, guys.